Type of GST registration. Compulsory registration. Your liability for GST registration depends on the value of your taxable turnover. This refers to the value of goods and services supplied by you, which are regarded as taxable supplies for GST purpose. You must register for GST if, under retrospective view, your taxable turnover at the end of any calendar year is more than 1 million Sing dollar. Taxable turnover will be computed on the calendar year basis for the purpose of determining registration liability. You have to monitor at the end of every calendar year, that is 31st December, and register for GST if your annual taxable turnover exceeds 1 million Sing dollar. You are encouraged to use the GST registration calculator to assist you in determining your GST registration liability. Under prospective view, if at any time you can reasonably expect your taxable turnover in the next 12 months to be more than 1 million Sing dollar, you will have to register for GST when there is certainty that your taxable turnover will exceed 1 million Sing dollar in the next 12 months. You must have supporting documents to support your forecast value. For example, signed contracts or agreements, accepted quotations or confirmed purchase orders from customers, invoices to customers with fixed monthly fee charge, income statement showing that past 12-month period was already close to 1 million Sing dollar and the annual turnover is on increasing trend. On the other hand, you are not required to register for GST if there is no certainty in your forecast. For example, you make a forecast based on market assessment, business plans, or sales targets. Voluntary registration. If you are not liable for GST registration, you may choose to register voluntarily after careful consideration. So what are the careful factors you should consider? They are: you qualified for registration. You are able to meet the requirements for voluntary registration, and the benefits outweigh the cost of registering for GST. Qualifying conditions. A business that is not required to register for GST may apply for registration on the voluntary basis if the business satisfies any of the following: making taxable supplies, make only out-of-scope supplies, sales of goods which did not enter Singapore, make exempt supplies of financial services that are also international services, or your business procures services from overseas service providers and you will not be entitled to full input tax credit even if you were GST registered. If you have not started but you have the intention to carry out any of the above transactions, you may also apply for GST registration. You will have to satisfy the controller that you are operating or carrying on a business and have firm intention to carry out the above transactions. If you do not have firm intentions or plans to carry out any of the above transactions, you should not apply for GST registration. Conditions for voluntary registration. Before registration, you have to fulfill the conditions below to register for GST. To ensure that the business owners have a good understanding of the obligations and responsibilities of a GST registered business before registering for GST, the company authorized person must complete 2 e-learning courses: registering for GST and overview of GST, and pass the quiz before submitting the registration form. These e-learning courses are not required if the company director or sole proprietor or partner or trustee of the business has the experience of managing other existing GST registered businesses. Or the person who prepares your GST return is an accredited tax advisor, ATA, or accredited tax practitioners, ATP. Or the business is applying to be registered under the Overseas Vendor Simplified Pay-Only Registration regime. Sign up for GIRO for payment and or refund of GST. Provide the security deposit imposed by the controller on a case-by-case basis. After registration, you have to remain GST registered for at least 2 years. You are required to comply with the following conditions, failing which, IRAS may cancel your GST registration. Maintain a GIRO account for payment and refund of GST. Make taxable supplies within 2 years or such approved longer period if you have not started making taxable supplies at the point of applying for GST registration. Comply fully with the responsibilities of a GST registered business. Any other conditions which may be imposed by IRAS at any point in time during your registration. You may also be liable for GST registration under the reverse charge and overseas vendor registration regime. We will cover more detail in upcoming webinar. Benefits and cost of voluntary registration. A benefit of registering for GST is that you can claim the GST incurred on your purchases, subject to the conditions for claiming input tax. However, if you are partially exempt business or an organization with business and non-business activities, you will not be able to claim all your input tax since input tax attributable to the making of exempt supplies, wholly non-business activity, and activities with non-business elements are not claimable. When your turnover is near but below the 1 million Sing dollar threshold for compulsory registration, registering voluntarily means that you will not need to monitor your turnover constantly. The cost of being GST registered may outweigh the benefits that you can enjoy. As voluntarily registered businesses must remain GST registered for 2 years, you should assess the costs and benefits over the 2-year period before registering, and the following are the areas you should consider. Responsibilities of being GST registered. Once registered, you are a GST collecting agent of the government. This means that there are responsibilities that you need to fulfill. Complying with these responsibilities may increase your administrative costs. Profile of suppliers. When your suppliers are GST registered or you import goods, you will benefit from GST registration because you will generally be able to claim the GST paid. When your suppliers are not GST registered, you cannot claim any GST since these suppliers did not charge you GST. Profile of customers. Once you are GST registered, you will have to charge your customers with GST. If your customers are GST registered, you will probably be able to increase your selling price to include the GST chargeable, as your customer will be able to claim the GST that you charge. However, if your customers are not GST registered, you may find it more difficult to increase your selling price to include the GST chargeable, since your customer will not be able to claim the GST that you charge. Type of sales made. When you export your goods or provide services to overseas customers, you charge GST at 0% for such sales, if qualified as curated supplies after GST registration. Since the supplies are generated, there is no impact on your selling price after GST registration. You may benefit from GST registration because you will be able to claim the GST incurred on your purchases. So, you must be wondering if there is any possibility if your business income exceeded 1 million Sing dollar and will be exempted from GST registration. Let us move forward to the exception of GST registration. Exception of GST registration. You will not be required to register for GST if your taxable turnover is wholly or mainly from generated supplies, and you can choose to apply for exemption from registration. You are liable for GST registration under retrospective, but not under prospective view, and the following conditions are met. You are certain that your taxable turnover for the next 12 months will not exceed 1 million Sing dollar. The taxable turnover is projected to be lower due to specific circumstances. Example, large-scale downsizing of business. You have supporting documentation to substantiate your projection. You must nonetheless continue to monitor your taxable turnover at the end of the next calendar year. Therefore, if you are not liable for GST registration, you may still choose to do so voluntarily after careful consideration based on the information as shared by us earlier on.